she's included an anti-Catholic Christian photograph called Piss Christ. This photograph was created by Andre Serrano, and it depicts a crucifix with Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, God incarnate, immersed in Mr. Serrano's urine. Having this despicable photo in a required class is considered hate speech and religious discrimination against all Christians. This type of debasement and blasphemy of our Lord and Savior God Jesus Christ is absolutely inexcusable and cannot be tolerated in our...
To make the city safer for everyone, but especially for those most impacted by crime.
CBS 2 investigator Dorothy Tucker spotlights a troubling pattern that's been ignored for years, and Dorothy joins us now live.
Well, Jim and Marie, we uncovered some unique facts and figures that revealed for the first time the truth about who criminals are really targeting. It's people who look like me. Our investigation exposes the causes and consequences of black women at risk.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Reports of multiple people shot on the city's west side.
It's all we think about.
Multiple suspects walked up to the victim demanding his car.
Our biggest fear.
Breaking tonight, 4 teens, 3 15-year-olds and 1 16-year-old, all shot while on a front porch.
Being the next victim of a crime.
The man stumbled down the Chinatown platform, bleeding from his neck from a gunshot wound.
But what are your chances?
We're not just talking about 1 or 2 robberies here. We're talking dozens of them.
Who's really the most at risk? Is it white men, white women, Asians, Hispanics, black men? No, it's not. It's women who look like Tonia Thomas.
It's scary.
According to Chicago police crime data for 2022, when you look at all the offenses, count all the victims, black women are the most at risk.
It's honestly, it's not fair.
Unfair because that 67,000 means 25% of crime victims are black women. But they make up only 16% of Chicago's population. And when the CBS 2 investigators kept digging, we discovered even more disturbing data. Black women represented more than a third of kidnappings, 35% of assaults, 38% of batteries attacked and injured, 40% of rape victims. And let this sink in. Black women are 52% of human trafficking victims. Remember, they're only 16% of the population.
To have
парафирован руководителем переговорной группы из Киева. Он поставил там свою подпись. Вот он. Он есть. Он так и называется. Договор о постоянном нейтралитете и гарантиях безопасности Украины. Именно о гарантиях, о которых вы сказали, уважаемый друг и президент Южноафриканской Республики. 18 статей. Более того, к нему есть еще и приложение. Они, знаете, сейчас даже не буду об этом говорить. Они касаются и вооруженных сил, касаются других вещей. Все прописано до единиц боевой техники и до личного состава вооруженных сил. Вот этот документ. И он парафирован киевской делегацией. Подпись стоит. Но после того, как мы, как и обещали, отвели войска от Киева, киевские власти, как обычно, делают их хозяева, выбросили это все.
1 million going, that's going to last us only to the end of next month. And what happens July 1st when we're broke again?
Frustration boiled over during a fiery city council meeting as residents and aldermen disagreed on how taxpayer dollars should be used when it comes to migrants.
Ultimately, $51 million in funding was approved to help care for asylum seekers in our city.
Casey Cronus has the story now from City Hall.
Passed in a 34-13 vote. That money will go toward housing, food, and other resources for new arrivals. But the decision did not come without contentious debate.
The bottom line is, we're a sanctuary city. We've been bragging about it forever. We did nothing to prepare for it.
Since last August, more than 8,000 migrants have been dropped off in Chicago from the Texas border, with shelters and respite sites overrun.
Families have been living on the floor in police stations. This is unacceptable.
But those opposed to a massive budget amendment are questioning how the city can suddenly come up with so much money for new visitors when local communities remain neglected and homeless individuals are sleeping on the streets.
How dare this mayor and city council have the guts to give migrants $51 million?
During the
anything for our community. And we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Enough is enough. And I voted for you, Brandon.
With tension, arguments and interruptions were frequent.
I would ask that you would do it with some level of decorum. I believe that we can have public discourse without our.
So I'll stop that right there. So, I mean, I just wanted to play just a few of these news stories to get some context to what I'm gonna say. You know, like I'm not gonna be on here long, but you know, it's, you know, when I saw the story this morning about the school where they put up a picture of called Piss Christ, right? Where in the school, in the high school, where they pissed on where this guy painted a picture of Jesus Christ on the cross being pissed on, and they put that up in the school, right? And I was like, wow, this is disgusting, right? And it's not just a matter of what you believe. Like, you could be an atheist, right? Or you could be a Muslim or a Christian or whatever, right? Or a Jewish person, right? But would you want your child? You could be an atheist and you could teach your children to be atheists. But would you want your child to walk into school in the morning with a picture of something or somebody being pissed on the wall? Being urinated all over on the wall? Like, I mean, it just seems like degenerate. It seems very, you know, just like a very degenerate, like society is just really degenerating. And they're calling it, like for black people, they're calling it integration and diversity. I ain't signed up for this. I doubt very seriously that's what Martin Luther King or anybody had it in mind when they were talking about integration, and right, that you wanted to be integrated into a school. You know, your children to go to school with like people being pissed on, particularly like if you're a Christian, you know, so-called Jesus Christ, you know, your Messiah who's supposed to save you from the Antichrist and his minions on earth, being pissed on a wall in front of your children. Does that make sense? Like, I don't get it. And then, like, Pac had a song, "Who Do You Believe In?" Right? Like, what and who do you believe in that would allow you, and what kind of person are you that would allow you would allow yourself to find, you know, they say you got to be tolerant. How much are you supposed to tolerate? Right? Is it worth it? Like, how much is worth it? Right? Like I just don't get it. What is it that you're, and particularly for black people, what is it that you're getting for your tolerance? That's why I put this story in about the women, right? With all this feminism and I don't need a man and, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That shit has imploded on black women, on females. They can't, for some reason, they don't get it. You know, man, we all the Cardi B and the, you know, Megan Thee Stallion. They don't get that shit is all horrible and fake and bad for you. They don't see that they're being destroyed. and it's right in front of your face. I mean, this is on the news, the nightly news. You're being destroyed. Like the nightly news is telling you, and you're like, I don't need it. I don't care. You know, Shaka Khan, I'm every woman, right? I'm independent woman, whatever, right? Megan Thee Stallion, you know, she got some WAP and all that. But your WAP is being raped and enslaved at a higher rates than anybody else. I don't know if you know that. Your WAP is being abused, and it's gonna get worse, right? And so I just want to, play some stories to keep it in context. Because I don't want people to think, oh, you're just making this stuff up. You're just saying stuff. What you're saying has no basis in reality. No, what these people are saying has no basis in reality. I'm a Buddhist. Everything is in reality for me. If it's not reality, I have to cut it off. That's what being a Buddhist means at a certain level. It's trying to technically understand reality. So Buddhism is not a religion, but that's not what this is about. So, but I just wanted to play some stories to put it in context, right? Particularly like if you black, it's a red alert, right? If you don't see that from that report, right? If you don't understand that, like you don't see like what's happening, right? Where you have the women under basically being, totally decimated in the community. But the propaganda from the politics and the religion and the advertising say that you independent and you doing awesome. Okay, but which one is it? Right? Which one is true? Where is the facts? What is the reality of the situation on the ground? Because from the report that I see, it looks devastating. When you look past the music, the Megan Thee Stallion and the Cardi B's and, the Michelle Obamas and all of this fake propaganda, this independent woman feminist propaganda, black females is being decimated. And then in turn, they're decimating the children. Right? With zero accountability. It's all the father's fault. Right? When you reject, male guidance, leadership, input, whatever, right? And shit goes south and then you blame somebody else. No accountability at all. Right? And you're being decimated, right? And put into a meat grinder, you and your children, and nobody can tell you the truth, right? Nobody can tell the truth. Everybody is, like Pitbull, don't stop the party, right? You just want party. Everybody want party. It's time to have fun, right? All the propaganda is, I'm telling you, the propaganda, the Antichrist, the spirit of the Antichrist propaganda is strong on black people in America. See, most black people, you're going to be destroyed in America. I said that in the previous vlogs, and I was right. You're going to be destroyed in America. See, I played that video about what happened with these illegal immigrants to also drive home a point. So you have two things happening at the same time. You have a total degradation and decimation of black people in America while putting another group directly on top of them by the millions. And not only putting that group on top of them, giving that group a foothold in America who don't even have citizenship in America. Right? And giving them billions of dollars of support that you refuse to give black people in America that been here for 400 years. That doesn't tell you something. That doesn't ring an alarm bell in your back of your mind. You know what I mean? Like if I was a black person, how brain dead could you be How brain dead must you be? How propagandized and mind controlled must you be, right? With this whole integration, diversity, you know, or whatever. You say, well, if it's integration and diversity, how come they won't diversify some of the resources to your community? But some illegal aliens can come across the border and they immediately diversify and integrate them into a society even without citizenship paperwork, right? When they broke into the country, and they immediately get them billions of dollars to set up shop. That makes sense? That doesn't tell you something is about to happen, that something is really wrong. That doesn't set off like a red alert, right? Alert, alert, alert. That doesn't ring any bells for you, right? It's just business as usual, right? I don't want to make this too long, but you know, I wanted to play some of those stories to keep it in context, to keep it reality based, right? You know, the propaganda you see, you know, Oprah Winfrey or LeBron James or Barack Obama or whatever, right? But the truth is much worse. These people are they said something on The View, the exception to the rule. They told Tim Scott that, right? And then he, you know, and he lost his mind. It is an exception to the rule, right? Black people are the exception to the rule when you can bring in people from across the border that don't even speak English, that illegally come into the country and get them billions of dollars, but you refuse to help your own citizens that been here under slavery and Jim Crow, etc., right? Being mistreated for hundreds of years. In those communities, you reject them. Well, there is some, you know, exceptions to the rule. Obviously, they are. Obviously, these illegal immigrants are the exception to the rule, right? The rule is, you know, we're not giving you shit when you're black, but the exception to that is if you're illegal immigrants, or I guess you're from Africa or somewhere, we'll help you out a lot, right? Particularly if you're anti-black. Even if you're black and you're anti-black American, we'll help you out, right? Why? It's all politics, see? Right? It's cheaper to help you out than to do anything for them. So we'll help you out. Plus you anti-black, so, you know what I mean? Just like Philando Castile, you may kill a few of them for us. You see? So come on in. We're gonna help you set up shop. You know, you'll be a police before you know it, right? Don't worry about it. We'll get you some La Raza tattoos, and you'll be on the police force before you know it. We all know Philando Castile, that ends badly, right? So yeah, I mean, there it is. You know what I mean? And then. And there's a progression to these things. That's why I put these stories together to show you, right? They're totally degraded. They put a picture of Jesus Christ, white Jesus, but anyway, Jesus Christ in a high school being pissed on, and then parade your children into these high. This is what's going on in these public schools, and you wonder what's wrong with your children. Right? You wonder what's wrong with your family. And they're telling you this is integration, this is tolerance, this is diversity. Right? It's a nightmare at a certain level for black people. And you know what I noticed? They don't resist at all. They say they're resisting. This is the worst resistance I've ever seen in my life. Right? I mean, you stand up and scream in City Hall. It's too late for that. While these authoritarians, and Barack Obama is a black authoritarian who works for Nazis. The Congressional Black Caucus is a group of black authoritarians. These authoritarians who ignore, while you support them, oppressing you in your community and donate money and vote for them, they go in and work for Nazis who oppress you and help oppressive groups come into the country, right? It's like them pointing a gun at your head, right? You are enabling people. You got black people enabling a whole class of people that's really working to dismantle them wholesale and don't give a shit about it. And they okay with that because they've been brainwashed and propagandized so much and beat down, right? Where you send your children to schools with people pissing on pictures on the wall of, Jesus Christ being pissed on, and rainbow flags, and transsexual teachers, and all kinds of things going on. And you say, and they say, well, this is acceptable. My leadership, Barack Obama said gay marriage, this is acceptable, right? The Congressional Black Caucus, the preacher at the church, the people at the school, they all said this is fine, this is good, this is the work of God, this is integration, diversity, progression for your community. But then you see the report on black women and you realize this is total destruction. And you see another report with these people, this huge group of people, hostile people being brought in and funded and set up right in your community. And they'll be looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, well, I've been in this community for 20 years, 50 years, whatever. No, what are you doing here? We don't care about that, amigo. What are you doing here? You see? Next thing you know, your house get firebombed, right? Or something, right? You say, wow, this is 1960 all over again. Except it's just integrated and diverse. With a tag on it that says integration and diversity. Right? And where's the level of dissatisfaction? Black people's level of dissatisfaction, you know what their level of dissatisfaction is? They go vote for a segregationist like Joe Biden, who wanted to put you in concentration camps. And you vote for him 3 times. That's your level of dissatisfaction. Wow. Right? Your protest vote is Joe Biden? I don't understand that. Right? Or Black Lives Matter is that's what? A group led by a bunch of homosexuals who embezzle all of the money that was donated to them so they could buy homes and stuff like that. A bunch of mulatto homosexuals and transsexuals and stuff. That's your leadership? Wow. Incredible. It's incredible. Right? I mean, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. It's a nightmare unfolding. Right? It's a nightmare unfolding. I don't know what, and then I played the last video I played, right? You have these African leaders. They went over there and Vladimir Putin dropped a truth bomb on them. They talk about they want to go over there because shit is getting bad. So you got China. I'm gonna end on this. China went to Ukraine and Russia, right? Now the whole African country went to Ukraine and Russia and got treated badly by the Polish over there, right? Made them sit on a plane for 20 hours. The Polish Nazis, right? And so they go there and got hit with a truth bomb by Vladimir Putin, who showed them that he tried to make a peace deal with these people, and they threw it in the trash. They signed it, and then they did everything against the peace deal and said, you know what, we changed our mind, threw it in the trash, and it just did whatever the Americans and the Europeans told them, Nazis told them, and pushed them into this war. And now you got these bunch of Africans sitting there looking crazy. What you gonna tell this man? See, he's not like you. He's not like y'all, right? He's not having it. You go over there because now shit is hitting the fan in Africa and stuff like that based on what's going on. So everybody's like, "Come on, man, we gotta stop this before y'all end the world with this shit over here." You see, y'all gotta stop this before y'all end the whole world. You got all the presidents from Africa trying to go over here and calm this shit down. The Chinese president, but people in America, they kind of like tone deaf, right? They're shooting each other in Denver at the NBA, championship celebrations in the street, while the world is about to end. While you got all the presidents in Africa in Russia, right? The presidents of China in Russia, all the presidents, trying to tell this man, calm down. What can we do to make peace? He's telling you, I already tried to make peace with these people. They signed the agreement and then threw it in the trash. Did that sound familiar? Did that sound familiar? If you look at the Indian treaties that have been broken, the 40 acres and a mule with blacks in America that was promised but never given, taking them back. You people don't understand who and what you're dealing with. Particularly like black people. So Putin dropped the truth bomb on these African leaders. They're not African, they African. Right? He's like, look, I'm not about to get shitted on like you guys. I tried to make a deal with them. Here's the proof. Right? They took a dump on the document and threw it in the trash. He said, I'm trying to be polite. When he presented, I showed you in the clip. He said, look, I'm trying to be polite. You see, I've done everything I can to deal justly and righteously with these people. That's not the kind of people you're dealing with, is what he's trying to tell them. But they seem like they should already knew that, these cowards. They're a bunch of cowards. Africa has no leader. All black leaders are white Nazis. All black leaders are a bunch of just white Nazis. Right? They're just black authoritarian leaders, right? Ran by a bunch of Nazis. That's all it is. They will never really do nothing to protect and help black people, except talk about it, while giving you very little, tangible results. See, Putin is like, look, I'm about the results, giving my people results. I'm saying y'all not going to do this, and I'm going to prove it to y'all. I'm going to show and prove. You see? And so he stepped to these Ukrainian Nazis, right? To show him he meant business, and to show them that he mean business. Right? It's time, you know what I mean? So that's how that went down, right? And he's willing to go all the way, right? Because he's showing you these are the type of people that you're dealing with. But it seems like you wouldn't have to tell that to black people in Africa or black people in America. It seems like for some reason they don't get the lessons of history. They're about to learn again. Particularly in America, these Negroes in America, I'm going to say this in a rap, are about to learn all of the lessons of the past that you forgot over the past 70 years since Jim Crow ended. You're about to get a refresher course on Jim Crow, ethnic segregation and ethnic cleansing, all that kind of stuff that was going on from Argentina to America. To so-called black people. You're getting reintroduced to that slowly but surely. Somehow it's evading you, your intelligences. Somehow these black people don't get it. Right? They somehow, it's evading them. The reality of the situation is not getting through to them. Right? matter whether, you're putting up pictures up there. So, and they claim to be Christians. None of them are upset by any of this. Right? Their leadership, like Obama, come out and say gay marriage, which the Bible is against gay marriage. But they claim to be Christian. You know what? I'm going to make a point before I go. Right? This is how confused black people and destroyed they are. Right? They claim to be Christians. Now, you got to ask yourself, and then people in general, but I'm just using black people, right? Because that's, my so-called people. Right? Now, you claim to be Christian and you say you believe in the Bible. Right? And there's 613 laws, statutes, and commandments in the Bible. Your leadership comes out. Barack Obama, he says we got to pass gay marriage. Well, the Bible is against gay marriage. But you vote for him and you say, well, we throw out that part of the Bible because I love Barack Obama. I'm with the Democrats. I'm an American. Okay, so you have the Constitution and the laws made by Barack Obama and all of the Americans, right? And then you have the laws of the Bible and you claim to be a Christian. This is what's making you insane. Let me give you a tip. This is what's making you this is what causes the natural, inbred, inborn insanity of so-called people in the West, particularly black people, particularly Americans. I'm gonna explain something to you. This is why they are so insane. Why you have mass shootings and all of the racist genocide and the Nazis and all kinds of shit going on, right? I'm explaining it to you. I'm gonna give you a perfect example of why. You can't serve God and Satan at the same time. You can only serve one. If you do try to serve both, what happens? You create a mental schism in your mind, and it blows your brain apart, and you start to become a degenerate. You have to choose a master to serve, first of all. You see? And so, let me extrapolate on that. Now, so you have your leadership tell you, well, you have to break the laws and tenets of the Bible because we got the Constitution over here, and in the Constitution we just changed it, and this stuff is opposed to the Bible. So which one are you going to choose? You try to choose both. You say, I'm a Christian and I'm an American, and I have a Bible and a Constitution in my pocket, and I have the laws of the land in my pocket, and I abide by the laws of the land even if they go against the Bible. So you're trying to walk on the left side and the right side at that same time. Explain to me how that works. And you say, well, I'm tolerant and I'm diversity and I'm all of this and I'm integrated and I'm doing them both. And you're fucking crazy. You become crazy because you can't do both. You have to pick a side. You have to pick a side. What side are you on? You can't be on the side of the Antichrist and on the side of the Christ, the Messiah, at the same time. He's not going to allow you to do that. Right? If he's real and he shows up, he's not going to allow you to be a constitutional American and a Christian at the same time. Why? Also, let me extrapolate on that. If you say my allegiance is to Christ, well, Christ is a king, right? Well, then that means a king has a monarchy. Monarchy is the best form of government. But you say, well, I'm a Democrat. I subscribe to Democratic Republican, right? And we vote and all that. Okay, well then, then this democracy is the best form of government. Well, which one is it? Is it a monarchy or this democracy? Which one are you choosing? I don't understand. You have to pick a side. You can't choose both. You see? Because when you try that, what happens? You become insane. You start to become a natural born hypocrite, a natural born liar. You see? A murderer, a genocidal maniac, a sociopath, a person who constantly, what is a sociopath? a person who constantly lies and can never, almost tell the difference. Right? Like a politician. Right? I'm lying for the better good of the people. No, you're lying because you're a sociopath. You see? So which is the better form of government? Is it Christ being the king in a monarchy and you bow to Christ and you keep the laws, or you bow to the Americans? Right? You bow to the Americans who have bowed to Satan, the Antichrist. Right? Which one is it? Which is the best form of government? Is it the monarchy of Christ, the king? Or is it the presidency of Barack Obama and the black politicians and the white politicians in America? And the Constitution, right? Which one is it? Which one did you choose? Which one which one, supersedes the other one? You see? And they said, well, America is a secular government. So now I guess that means it supersedes the Bible. So you have to bow down to the American way of life, which is now pictures of, sending your children to school with people pissing on Jesus Christ on the wall. And men dressed like women in the hallway, teachers, and rainbow flags, and gay married teachers in your schools, and anything goes. What's next? Right? What's next? I'm just saying, how far are we going? Right? And you see in feminism where you see the women degraded and being sex trafficked and degenerated. Right? Talking about they got WAP, but their WAP is being sex trafficked and abused. Right? But they independent and all that. None of it makes sense. And the children is being, degenerated. So is it the monarchy of Christ, the best form of government? Or with the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments and the prophecy? Or is it America and the diversity and the integration in the democratic republic is the best form of government? See, you're trying to walk with one foot on the left and one foot on the right and go left and go right at the same time, and then when you go crazy, you don't understand why. Right? When you're sitting somewhere in a straitjacket, or you're watching this madness that goes on in America, you can't make up your mind why. You can't understand. You say, I don't understand this. Why this white racist Nazi man go in this church and slaughter these defenseless old black people? Why did this white Nazi man go into this supermarket and slaughter these black people, defenseless old black people in this supermarket? Why did Rahm Emanuel close down 50 schools in black neighborhoods in Chicago, who was the chief of staff for Barack Obama, and the so-called Jewish man Rahm Emanuel, right? And then they turn around and give $51 million to illegal immigrants from across the border. I don't understand. Why are black women being sex trafficked, right? And abused and et cetera, at a higher rate than anybody, being a smaller percentage of the population? I don't understand. You don't understand? Why don't you understand? What do you mean you don't understand? You don't know what to do? Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to end this on this. I'm going to tell you what you can't do. You can't walk on the left side of the road and the right side of the road at the same time. Obviously. That's not working. You have to pick a side. Right? You can't be integrated, right? And you can't, intersectionality for black people is not going to work. Nobody wants to be integrated with you. I'm sorry. I know they tell you that, but if you listen to the LA tape, the secret tapes, Nori Martinez proved that to you. Lip service out front, but behind, stabbing in the back. Behind closed doors, a whole different story. Nobody wants to be integrated with you. Nobody wants to be diverse with you. That is a ruse. That is a psyop. I just showed you it's a psyop. If they wanted to be integrated and diverse with you, they would have gave you $51 million 20 years ago. They wouldn't be giving it to, illegal immigrants coming across that border within 30 days. You know what they say, put your money where your mouth is. Think about it. I'm just saying, you have to think about it. Right? And I'm trying not to get, hype. But it's extremely distressing. Because you can see the meat grinder coming. You see? Not coming, but you can see people being put through a meat grinder. My own family been put through a meat grinder in America. Right? My family, me, we've been put through a meat grinder in America. Right? I had some Hispanic woman I went out on a date with tell me black women see racism everywhere that it doesn't exist. And then when I got hostile with her, she wondered why. I got a little hostile. I got a little heated with her. Right? These people don't give a fuck about you and what you go through and your experience and the meat grinder that you've been put through. They're just going to use you as a stepping stone, right? You're just entertainment at a certain level. Anyway, man, I'm done.